Japan was first inhabited by humans 30,000 years ago. The melting of the glaciers 15,000 years ago formed the four main islands of Japan: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, and Kyushu. Japan's culture ended up developing later compared to the rest of Asia, and as a result was influenced by Chinese and Western culture. Despite the influences, Japan's culture is still very unique. Early Japan was ruled by powerful clans or families that established Japan's government and culture in each of Japan's periods. Japan had 7 different periods before the year 1333. These were the Jomon, Yayoi, Kofun, Asuka, Nara, Heian, and the Kamakura periods. In this PowerPoint, we will be focusing on Buddhist art from the Kamakura period and the depictions of the Buddha in said art. The Kamakura period came after the Heian period, spurred by clans of warriors or samurai from outside the capital becoming more powerful. They would take opposing sides in conflicts of the imperial court in order to control the weakened emperor and take over the government. The period officially began when the Minamoto clan took Japan over from the Taira family. The head of the Minamoto clan, Yoritomo, was appointed as the shogun, which is the general-in-chief. This period emphasized military and warfare. During this time of violence, Buddhism became more popular with the people. The period was, as a result, dominated by 2 new sects of Buddhism: Jodo or Pure Land and Zen Buddhism.
Buddhism originated in India before it spread to other countries in Asia. The religion was founded by Siddhartha Gautama during the 5th century BCE. Siddhartha Gautama was the prince of the Sakya tribe. When he turned 29 years old, he decided to leave his privileged life at home and went out to experience the suffering he saw around him. One day, Siddhartha Gautama was able to overcome the pain and shock he felt when he experienced all of the suffering in the world. He mindfully meditated under a Bodhi tree for hours, and all thoughts of those hardships seemed to vanish. This is when he became Buddha, the Enlightened One. Every value and lesson in Buddhist teaching revolve around 4 main beliefs known as the Four Noble Truths. The beliefs are: life is suffering, or dukkha; the cause of suffering is desire, or trishna; desire can be overcome, also known as reaching nirvana; and lastly, the path to accomplish this is the Eightfold Path, or dharma. The Eightfold Path is a list of 8 values or goals, which are right view, right aspiration, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. One must follow and apply these values to their life in order to achieve nirvana. As Buddhism grew and spread, different forms of the religion were created in different countries. During the Kamakura period, there were 2 main sects in Japan: Pure Land or Jodo Buddhism and Zen Buddhism. Pure Land Buddhism originated in China but was spread to Japan and became very popular. This form of Buddhism emphasized the idea that people are not able to reach enlightenment on their own power, but can with the use of deities and the belief of a higher being. Zen Buddhism spread to Japan later. Similar to Pure Land Buddhism, Zen Buddhism originated in China. Monks from Japan traveled to China to study the new teachings of Buddhism and ended up bringing Zen teachings back to Japan. Unlike Pure Land, Zen Buddhism follows the original values of Buddhism. With Zen, it is believed that enlightenment can be reached by oneself through meditation.
Being that the Kamakura period was an inherently militaristic time and Buddhism became more popular as a result, the art of this time reflected the teachings of Buddhism. Thus, the art that resulted in this period had similar themes, including the use of the lotus flower and the chakra wheel. However, the depiction of Buddha could become even more powerful, as little differences and changes could significantly impact the piece as a whole. The Amida Buddha was particularly significant during this time, as this is after he had achieved supreme enlightenment and could now help others to his own pure land, if they had complete faith in him. There is even a specific chant to express calling in him in complete faith that translates to, "I seek refuge in the Amida Buddha." This movement influenced his positions and depicted nature. The most telling signs of a Buddha's meaning is the positions of his hands. These hand positions, called mudras, have such distinct meanings they are almost equivalent to spoken word and can act as communication with the divine. Simply changing the direction of the palm could change the entire function of the sculpture, painting, or work of art. An example includes the mudra where there is a hand reaching downwards, palm opposite of us, calling upon earth to bear witness to Buddha's enlightenment. Simply turning the palm to face the viewer changes the meaning to become a gesture of charity and giving. Then if that hand was turned up, it would become a symbol of reassurance. Numerous mudras are related to balance, peace of mind, goodwill, though there are a few that represent threat and argument, like the Tarjani and Vitarka mudras. Outside the mudras, there are 32 marks of Buddha that give reasons behind every detail from the direction of his curls to his long eyelashes and rounded shoulders. His entire design has a reason behind every curve, curl, and shape, and each feature relates back to his kind and generous nature. According to the filigree of realization, his cheeks are round since he no longer spoke recklessly or unnecessarily, and his teeth are equal length from earning his money through honest means. This list even mentions his special sense of taste and his melodious voice, attributes that cannot obviously be seen. Other motifs frequently involve lotus flowers and objects that go in specific hands. Buddha can often be seen sitting on the lotus throne, symbolizing nirvana achieved. There are various objects that he can be seen holding, such as Pilgrim's scepter, which had 6 rings to represent the 6 karmic realms.
In the first piece we will look at, the artist Kosho knew that the placement and arrangement of the Buddha in an artwork could heavily impact the motive and story of his piece. In his piece, Kuya Preaching, Kosho was able to use the Buddha to further implore the foundational teaching of the Pure Land Buddhist sect in Japan. The piece itself is a wood sculpture, which would have had originally inlaid crystal eyes as well as painted details. These additions only serve to enhance the striking realism of this sculpture that depicts the sweet and honest reverence of a monk chanting. This intense realism is actually somewhat out of place for this time period, making it very interesting. The subject is Kuya, a monk from the Heian period who was famous for urging others to join him in singing chants for the Buddha Amida. Kuya was an early proponent of the Pure Land Buddhism that thrived during the Kamakura period, and is considered one of the primary founders of this religious tradition. This posthumous statue would have been easily recognized at the time by his meager traveling clothes and his gong used for chanting. However, most easily recognizable was his staff, topped with deer horns, reminiscent of Kuya's conversion to Buddhism after he slayed a deer. The statue was made some 200 years after Kuya's death, and was housed in the Rakura Mitsuji Temple in Kyoto, St. Kuya, a temple founded by Kuya himself. The sculpture not only honored him, but was also used specifically to showcase the foundational Pure Land Buddhism belief in chanting and recitation. It is thought that the achievement of the Pure Land can be reached through the recitation of the Nembutsu. This recitation was thought to help even the worst of sinners, and was initiated by Kuya. Thus, in order to embody this achievement of paradise through chanting, the artist chose to use the Buddha. As depicted, the Buddha is shown in 6 forms leaving the mouth of Kuya, who fervently and passionately chants the Nembutsu. While each Buddha is not placed in specific positions or mudras to convey the meaning, together as a whole they provide a physical manifestation of this important concept. There are 6 Buddhas total, one for each of the 6 syllables of the Na, Mu, A, Mi, Da, Bu, and the 7th syllable, Su, is actually silent in the chant. This roughly means praise to Buddha and is an integral part of the recitation of the Nembutsu. This simple manifestation of the Buddha thus serves to completely transform the piece into one of reverence and teaching, while also being a work that is truly admirable.
The Descent of Amida and the 25 Bodhisattvas is a Raigo painting done on a hanging scroll with colors and gold on silk. Raigo paintings are paintings that depicted the Amida Buddha coming down to earth with bodhisattvas to welcome the souls of the dying believers. Usually, these paintings were brought into the home of a person who's dying or near death. Attached to the painting, there would be golden cords that the person near death would grab onto in hopes that Buddha would escort them to paradise. During the Kamakura period, Raigo paintings were increasingly popular due to the popularity of Pure Land Buddhism at the time. In this painting, you will see Amida Buddha descending from the heavens with bodhisattvas into the house of a believer who seems to be meditating. It's a little hard to tell, but it seems that his figure was drawn in a way where one of his arms are stretched out towards the believer as if welcoming him. The other one is in front of his chest, showing his palm towards the viewer. This pose is a really common one for the Buddha and is seen in a lot of depictions of him. To show the divinity of the deities, the artist used gold paint and thin silvers of gold leaf. This process using cut gold leaf is called kirikane. The gold and silvers used for Buddha and the bodhisattvas were surrounded by darkened silk to emphasize the figure's golden aura. Although Buddha and the bodhisattvas were the main focus of the painting, the landscape in this painting is rendered beautifully and carefully, emphasizing the traditional Japanese appreciation for nature.
Daibutsu, or Great Buddha, is a common Japanese term used when describing an enormous statue depicting a Buddha. And when it comes to Japanese sculptures, the Great Buddha of Kamakura is one of the most famous Daibutsu. This enormous statue is close to 13 meters tall, made of bronze, and contains a hollow interior that one can actually walk around in. However, other sources claim that it is around 11.5 meters tall. It is located in Kamakura, Japan, and is thought to have dated back to 1252, when its casting began. The story is that a court lady, who was the assistant of Shogun Yorimoto, teamed up with a priest by the name of Joko to raise funds for building a wooden Buddha and a hall to cover it according to temple records. This statue was meant to display Yorimoto's power during this time, and as the founder of the Kamakura Shungate, but he died before being able to see his wish fulfilled. The Amida Buddha took about 5 years to build, but was destroyed in 1284 from a storm hitting the area. Both the statue and the hall were rebuilt, but this time instead of wood, the Buddha was made of bronze. Sadly, continuous disasters continued to befall on the hall and would continue to destroy it again and again and again. After the hall's fourth construction and destruction, no further halls were created, leaving the Buddha to be forever exposed to the elements and the open air. The statue has his hands positioned in the Dhyana Mudra pose for meditation and good law, assumed to be the mudra used by the Buddha when he was under the peepal tree, meditating. The Daibutsu also has other features common to most Amida Buddhist statues, from the elongated earlobes and curled hair to the enlarged head with the urina on the forehead. A thin mustache rests above the upper lip as well. As the Daibutsu continues to stay strong for almost 8 centuries with its serene expression, the citizens of Kamakura believe that this statue will continue to bring peace to their land for many centuries to come. The Kamakura period has shown to be a peculiar era. Despite the various violent battles among samurai and shoguns, the citizens of Japan adopted the calm, serene beliefs of both Pure Land and Zen Buddhism so that they may live a peaceful life. These statues and paintings, as well as many other works of art, helped provide a closer connection to that enlightened state in Buddhism. One may still feel that calming sensation if they were to approach any of these works today.